Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sortani. This is my channel, and here to bring you content and anything I'd like to talk about. You can just, leave me a message on the YouTube, and I'll get right back to you. Someone did ask me today about marriage. What do you guys think about marriage? Are you married? Is that something you want to do? I mean, sometimes it's just like a woman thing, right? There are a few men that want to get married, but sometimes the woman wants to rush into it. And I think with anything, you never rush into anything. Never rush. You take your time, be patient. The same thing is like when you're playing football. Anytime you rush a throw, or like a quarterback, you rush a throw. Sometimes it becomes incomplete. So I think sometimes we need to take time and think about it before we actually do it. Maybe one day I do hope to get married and obviously have kids and all that good stuff. But I just don't want to go for the divorce. Why get married and then 10 years later, 5 years later, 15 years later, get divorced? That's like the one of the worst things that can happen. And it's like time wasted. How much time do you want to waste? Being with someone and then you end up, hating them. Because a lot of people I know, they're in relationships and they're staying in it for the kids, so they're not happy. They don't like where they're at in life, and they, obviously sometimes they become cheaters, and when they're cheaters, we outcast them and consider them like people who just didn't do good, but maybe they were stuck in a situation that they couldn't get out of. Once you tie that knot, it's like you're stuck, right? You can't really do anything but get a divorce, which becomes very nasty. Lawyers involved, and if you have a lot of money, then it becomes a bigger issue because then you're trying to split the money half and half, and sometimes or most times one person has made more than the other person, which has created a problem because if one person has made more, they feel like they don't owe you anything. But the marriage rules apply to everyone, where you usually have to give half of what you earn, which is unless you sign a prenup, then that means like why get married? Because that means you didn't trust the person to begin with. So why do we keep pushing marriage on TV, media? It's just like you're brainwashed into thinking that you need to get married for you to have a complete life. I think sometimes to test the waters, maybe why not just live together with someone and and see how that goes for a couple of years before you decide to get married. I think that's the right way to do it. It should be in steps. Everything is in steps. Everything shouldn't be just go from 1 to 10. It should be a progression. So I feel that that's what we're missing now is those little baby steps that should be taken, before you get married. Live together for a few years, because a lot of things you're not going to be able to change about your partner. Your partner is just, there's things that you might be able to balance, but there's going to be things that they do that you don't like, and things that you do that they don't like. And I don't think anyone's going to do 100% turnaround for the whole time. You're going to be you no matter what eventually. So, if you like to leave the toilet seat up, or if you don't like to take out the garbage, or if you're like a slob, I mean, yes, some things you can change, but a lot of things you can't. And obviously, some of your partners sometimes will like to they'll compromise and they'll accept you for who you are. And but can you do it long term? It's like a job, you know. When you first work a job, you enjoy it. You're probably smiling, happy. And then after 10 years, 20 years, you know, you get tired. You know, obviously you're like, I can't wait to retire. I can't wait to get out. You know, then you start, you know, like you become grumpy. You know, grumpy with your coworkers, grumpy with you know, customers, and it's like then you know you've been there too long. But same thing in marriage. You know, when you marry, when do you ever say that it's just been too much? You know, like because marriage is a long term thing. You know, and we mostly think in short term. You know, with life. So you know, when you become unhappy, do you just stay in it? Because you only live once, you know, and you want to be happy, regardless, you know. Sometimes we're just trying to, you know, look good in front of people, you know, because some people, like, you know, they're like, you were a perfect match, you got married, and then you have kids, and now you want to keep the front that both of you are happy, but sometimes it gets, you know, boring, and you get tired of it. So I wouldn't say, you know, marriage is a solution. Sometimes you can just become friends, and you know, like say you break it off early, and then you both agree on divorce, and you know, like Tom Brady and Giselle, you know, they recently, maybe a couple years ago, had divorced, but now, I mean, I think I don't hear really too much negative from either side, which is what you want, you know, like if I was ever to get divorced after getting a marriage, I would at least, you know, want a great communication between the partner I had for so long, you know. But what I see is fighting, you know, the infighting between, you know, the husband and wife, and when they get divorced, and you know, it's like they both hate each other, and you know, the person you spent all this time with, do you really want, you know, after you spend 10 years, 5 years, 20 years with, do you want to become like mortal enemies now and have no communication? I'd rather have an open communication with a person I spent, you know, time, because that was time I spent with you in my life, and even though it could have been stressful and difficult and hard times, I think it was like a time that we should always feel as is something special, and something that, you know, will always share between us. Not just to, you know, say you hated, you hated the whole time you were with that person, and it was the worst time of your life, you know. So it's, and also if you do have kids, you do want to be able to, you know, both be communicating with each other, and both be happy. So at the end of the day, to answer the question, should you get married? I think you should wait. Most people, I think, should wait. You know, it should be, you know, you can't go. It's like you can't go from high school to the NFL. I think you just have to take it in baby steps. You know, take it year by year, and obviously you gotta live with that person for a few years before you even think about marriage. So a lot of you who don't even live with your spouse or your girlfriend don't even think about marriage. Just because you have a kid doesn't mean anything. A kid doesn't mean that you're gonna stay. I think a kid's even a stronger bond than marriage. You know, because marriage, you can get the divorce and that's it, it's history. But a kid, that's for life. You know, you're like, it's, you know, that's even a stronger bond than marriage, having a kid. But anyway, that's all I had to say today. I think, you know, you guys couldn't leave a comment, but I believe most people should wait, never rush into it. this is not it's not about, it's all about timing with things in life, and I think there is a time and place to do it, but when you're ready and when you're, make sure you're really happy with that person, because we're just sometimes, we'll get with someone and we're just happy in that moment, but really, long term you just start getting like, can you do the same thing over and over with that person and still be happy? Because sometimes, you know, doing the same thing over and over doesn't get you happy with that person, or you feel like, football terminology, you need a new team, or basketball terminology, you need a new team. Sometimes you can win that Super Bowl, that championship with that team, but then sometimes it just it gets dry, and then you have to actually move on. So love hate. I consider a marriage can be like a business, and sometimes you have to make that tough decision, and you got to do what's best for the business. You gotta be business minded. I know you can't think with your heart all the time. You gotta think with your mind, and that's what a lot of people fail to do. They sometimes think with their heart, and the heart always leads you, in the wrong direction. Because your heart just, is more of a random thing. Like when you think in your mind, you're actually thinking, and you're actually, putting steps forward to do what you have to do, and you think more logical than with your heart. So that's all I had to say today. Just to take it slow, just to take your time, just to be patient, and if it's meant to happen, it'll happen. Whether you do it in year 1 or year 5 or year 10, but this misconception that you have to always do it, as soon as possible, just because you have a kid, or just because your mom thinks you need to do it, or it's just crazy. So anyway, thank you again for coming to the channel. Leave a comment, subscribe, like, and then anything you want to talk about, leave in the comments, and I'll get right back to you and put a video out. Thank you, and have a good one.